In this video, the goal is to add a drop-down menu to our album details page for genre. Now, in order to have a drop-down menu, you have to get the information from somewhere. And the recommendation I'm going to have in this case is to build the information into a table. Now, it's entirely possible to design your database so that these tables are actually linked. For example, you could make genre in our albums table. You could make it a foreign key over to a genres table. In this case, I'm going to keep it as simple as I can. So I'm not going to do that. Let's see if I already have some genres made. I do. Okay. So what I did is I created a table called genres. Okay. So genres are different types of music. And I have just one column in that table called the genre. I said it was a varchar, so basically a string up to 20 characters long. And I said it's a primary key. Now what that means is that each item, each row, okay, each genre has to be unique. I cannot have two jazzes, for example. And let's actually just... Let me just pull these out. Okay. So if you're watching the video, you're like, how is he running these commands in? If you highlight a command like this, if you hover over this lightning bolt, it says execute the selected portion of the script or everything if nothing is selected. So what I like to do is I highlight a very specific line of code or lines of code, and if you hold down Control Shift Enter, it actually runs it in for you. So now if I said select star from genres, if I run that command, it shows me all of my genres, but it's not necessarily in alphabetical order. Although, yes, it did give it. Hang on 1 second here. Isn't that interesting? All right. I'm surprised that it gave it in alphabetical order, but it did. Great. I was expecting it to be like jazz and then hip hop and then reggae. Anyways, the idea here is these are all of our genres. This is going to be what we want to populate our drop-down menu with. So all of the music that we put in will automatically have to be one of these genres. Someone can't make up their own genre like the sunglass genre. So to do that, let's take a look at our page for a sec. Basically, I want to add, after where it says artist, I want to add another field set here so that we can put in a label that says genre and then a drop-down menu. So let's go into our PHP storm to do that. So that file was called the album details file. And basically, here's the last field set we have for artists. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it in here. This one's going to be genre. Now where it gets different is instead of being an input, it's called a select. Okay. Actually, let's just do it like this. Okay. It's got opening and closing tags. Name equals genre. Okay, so inside these two select tags is where I need to put my code for the drop-down menu. And let's see if we can find an example online. I'm trying to think of a good spot. Is there GC? Trying to think if there's a good drop-down menu option in here. Yeah, so here's one with the edit delete. Can we view the source? Let's inspect this here. See if this gives us some nice information so we can see. So this does it as an unordered list. Okay, not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting it actually to be, that's fine. So let's go back in here. What we're going to do is I'm going to set them up as a series of option, little option items. So let's do this. We're going to do our standard thing here. To get the information from the database, we're going to have to use PHP. And then we're going to do our multi-step process. So step 1, connect to the database. Step 2, okay, so connect to the database. Probably getting tired of this one, right? So we set up a connection. It's a new PDO. Host equals localhost. And the DB name that I'm using is PHP. Username. Password. And then our SQL script. If we go back to Workbench here, we basically want this. We want to select star from genres, right? So let's do that. Say SQL equals, oops. Prepare the SQL, execute, okay, and then I'm going to create a variable called genres, okay, so this is an array of all the genres, okay, I'm going to say that is equal to the command fetch all. Now to display the results, I'm going to do like I did in the table. I'm going to use a for each loop. So I'm going to say for each. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them inside of option tags. So I'm going to say option. Okay, so I hit save, Control S. I come back into here, hit refresh. So now I can see here's the genre, and when I pull it down, I can see all nice alphabetical list of what I want. I'm actually still surprised that it's alphabetical, but I'm not complaining. So now if I create a new album, the latest album of 2015. Hit save. Now it didn't populate it into our table because we actually didn't change our save albums page yet, right? So let's take a look at our save albums page and see if we properly handled that. Save album. So when we built this, we didn't handle genre, right? So we have title, year, and artist. So let's add in the genre. And then down here, we need to add in genre. And we have to bind it. And in our table, we said this was of size 20, right? So if I go back to where we created our genre, we said the size was 20. Okay, so now we hit save. Create a new album. Let's make this reggae. Hit save. Oh, we're still not getting this to come through, so let's see why that may be. Okay. So on our album details page, the name here equals genre, and here we have comes in. There's our SQL statement. Here we're associating the two. We have the right. Okay, so when it's not obvious like that, sometimes it's helpful. Let's turn off our redirect. And let's just do a couple things, see if we can see what is going on. So it did pass it in correctly. Okay. And if we go to here, we can see it actually created the latest album, but didn't populate the genre. Why? Okay, so we know the right information is coming into here. Okay, let's make sure we've hit save. Okay, so let's try this. Sometimes, actually, the issue is you just need to reload. Sometimes you get like an older version of something. Let's do test 1987. All right, we'll do country music. Oops. No, still it's not saving it. So we need to find out what's going wrong here. So in order to do that, let's also try. We can set some attributes so that it'll help identify any issues we're having with the connection. Just give me 1 second here. I just have to find the code for that. Okay, let's see if this produces anything to the screen that's a little bit different. Let's reload. Okay, here we go. So what this code does here is, as it suggests, it turns on basically this error mode and exception handling. Normally you wouldn't display this to your website because it could potentially compromise the security of your website, but here we want to know this information, so we're turning it on. So it says here, insert value list does not match column list. Column count doesn't match row count. Okay. So, usually that means my insert. So here I said insert into album's title, year, and artist. Right, so I said I'm going to insert into these 3 columns, and then I gave it 4 columns worth of information. So what I needed to do was also say genre. Hit save. Refresh. Continue. Okay, so that time I think it probably went through. Yeah, now we can see it down here. So let's take off our header, redirect, hit save. Continue, and there we go. We can see that it came through. So there you have it. We've been able to create a drop-down list, right? So again, we created this by creating a table in the database, and then on this screen we queried the database, and then we looped over the results to create a drop-down menu. All right, that's it for this video. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to add in an additional column here to delete items out of our table. So if we have some of these duplicate stuff, we can just hit delete and it'll go away. Cheers.